Hey guys, I am back on the porch with another review, and today I will be talking about the Thermarest Neoair xlite. So I picked this mat up for about $170 about a year ago, and so far I have liked it. There's been some awesome things about it, and there's been a few things that I wish would be different about this. So this is the sleeping mat I took with me on my Appalachian Trail thru hike. I carried this the entire time. I thought about getting rid of it just to get rid of some weight. It weighs just under 12 ounces, so it's like 11.8 ounces or something, as it is right now. I don't remember what it was new. So I guess I will start with talking about the things that I like, and then we'll go into some of the things that I don't like. I think it's designed pretty well. It's tapered to your body, so the top of it is wider for your shoulders and the bottom gets thinner for your feet, as opposed to some of the other designs where it's more of a square shape. It comes out and down. That just saves more weight and makes it so you don't have to blow it up as much, because you're not pumping air into the parts that are over here. They have quite a few different sizing options for them. This one is the regular sizing. They have a small, they have a torso, they have a women's, and they have some larger ones and some really big ones that are like 7 feet long. Definitely look into the different heights. Don't just order a regular, because you could save weight and, more importantly, save the amount of air you need to blow into it every single night. And if you're a small dude, look at the women's version. There's nothing different about it, but it's smaller, so you'd save weight without carrying the extra few inches. This is this much taller than me. It's on the ground right now, and it's that much taller than me. So this is too big. I should have gone with a women's version. I found it to be extremely durable. I brought this the whole trail. It didn't have any leaks or anything. There was a few people who had similar ones who ended up having leaks, and it comes with a patch kit. You clean the area and then put a small patch on it after you find it. To find the leak, you blow it up and put it in a bathtub or a pond, something. You'd submerge it and you look for where the bubbles come up. And there's more information on their website about how to do that. But I had this the whole trail, no problems. I usually just blew it up and put it on the shelter floors with nothing under it. At the beginning I was really careful with it, because it seems like it's kind of thin. When you first get it, it's all clean and just looks like it's made out of a really thin trash bag kind of material. But it was pretty durable. There was a few times where I just blew it up and sat on it and on the ground, and it's still good and I still use it. And it's extremely comfortable. It's about 3 inches thick once you blow it up, somewhere around 3 inches, and that makes it so you can lay on your side and not be super uncomfortable. But your shoulders do start to ache. It's nowhere near like a bed, but it's so much better than a closed cell foam mat, which is another option. This is the Thermarest xlite. This is my sister's. They're lighter weight and they are a lot cheaper. You can get these for like $35, where these are like $150 to $185. What you sacrifice with using a xlite over a Neoair is the comfort, the thickness that you would gain from the air from this, so it's a lot less comfortable. And once it's packed down, it's quite a bit bigger. You can't stow it in your pack as easily. You store it on the outside of your pack, and it's always blown around. But I don't know, what you gain from going with one of these is every single time when you get to camp, you just grab it and drop it down. You can use it as a seat instantly at a break. You don't have to blow it up or pull out anything. You just drop it on the ground and it's good to go. And that is a huge appeal for these. I almost thought about switching to one of these on the AT, because one of the things I liked the least about the Neoair was having to blow it up every night. It takes, I don't know, like 35 or 40 breaths, something like that, to blow this thing up. And after you hike 25 miles or 20 miles or even 10 miles in a day, you usually don't want to sit down and blow up one of these until you get lightheaded. So ease of use on this is not quite there. That brings me to the second thing that I do not like. When this is blown up by your mouth, moisture gets in there. I'll show a clip where you can see all the mold that's growing in there. And yes, I've used it a lot, but it's kind of disgusting how much mold grows in these things. And a lot of people don't know that it's inside their sleeping mat, And I said stuff to people, and they would be like, "That's disgusting. Why is yours moldy?" And I would just told them, "Yours is moldy too." And then they hold it up to the light and see that it is moldy, and then they don't want to blow up their own mat anymore. So I want to like let people know. So if you have one of these, it's moldy in there. It's just what happens when your breath gets in there. It can't get out, and there's no real way to clean it because this is the only opening. So yeah, they get moldy. There are two ways around that I figured out. In order to avoid mold, you can never blow it up with your breath. You always have to use something else. Thermarest sells a battery operated pump. It's pretty lightweight and it blows it almost all the way up, but I've heard that it doesn't get it the last bit, like you have to put in 2 breaths after that. So that sort of helps. You'd get a lot less moisture in there and it would mold a lot less quickly. But there is another option that someone came up with, a stuff sack, and you use it to store like a sleeping bag or something like that in there. And then when you take that out, you put the little hole over there, you open the top part of the stuff sack and it fills up full of air. You roll it down, so it's just a stuff sack full of air, and as you roll it, it forces all the air into the sleeping mat. And there was a guy on trail that I met that had one of those, and he let me try it out, and it's still not super convenient to use, but I found it to be a lot faster than blowing it up. It would take about 5 stuff sacks filled to fill up the whole thing, which was a lot better than sitting there blowing it up, and you avoid mold. The guy had like an extra large one, so he said it took forever, whether he was blowing it up or using that pump. So there are 2 ways to avoid that moldiness. But if yours is already moldy, or you are just going to blow it up with your mouth, I have a tip for you so you're not breathing in the mold. A lot of people who blow these up blow it up and then take a deep breath and blow it up again. But as it fills up, the air starts to come back through the thing and you're just breathing in moldy air, which I can't imagine that is good for you. So what I found out that you could do, as you blow it up, you blow a breath in and then slide the nozzle down onto your lips so it stops the air from coming out, which also helps you blow it up faster because no air is leaking. But yeah, don't breathe in the mold. It's not good for you. So this is the stuff sack that came with it. It's just made out of like a sil nylon, I think. To put it in here, you fold the Neoair in thirds, so there's 2 folds in it, which I didn't like because it only puts another step into packing up and unpacking. Plus, in your pack, this takes up a lot more room than if you were just to roll it up. So what I ended up doing was making my own stuff sack, and making a stuff sack is a super easy thing to do. If you have a sewing machine, it just takes a few minutes as long as you have some material. But I made it so that I could stand it up in my pack, so I only had to roll it. I didn't have to fold it, just roll it up the long way, and then I could slide it down in my pack along the frame sheet, and that worked out very well. I think Joe Brewer, the other guy on YouTube, Thru Hiker, made something similar to this as well. If you make a stuff sack, try and make it a little bit bigger than you think it should be, because if you're cold, your hands are cold and you're rolling up your mat, you don't want to have to always roll it really tight. You want it to still be able to fit in there, because rolling up your sleeping mat when you're cold is hard. So I ended up making 2 because the first one was pretty small. And another helpful thing is throwing a loop at the bottom, so when you grab it you can just pull it off. So in all, this Neoair is expensive, comfortable, moldy, yellow, probably a few other things. If you have any questions about it, drop it in the comments below and I will get back to you. I've enjoyed using this sleeping mat. I think that if it were to pop, I would probably try and get used to a closed cell foam mat, but I would definitely recommend trying out one of these, because you do get a lot better night's sleep on one of these rather than a closed cell foam mat. Plus, it's a lot warmer, so if you're camping in the winter, or if you're just sleep cold naturally, then these will keep you a lot warmer because of the layer of reflective insulation tinfoily stuff that's inside there, which makes it kind of loud. And one of the complaints that people had about these was the noise that it has. If you're sleeping and you're making a lot of noise, there's tents nearby, if you're going to keep them awake, or someone in your tent, or even keeping yourself awake. And I found that if you blow it up all the way so it's really tight, it doesn't make that much noise because the two layers, the two yellow parts, are outside of the part that's makes all that crinkly noise on the inside. They're not touching. There's air in between. I think that's what it seems like. So it makes less noise, but when it's really firm, it's not as comfortable to most people. Some people like it blown up all the way really hard, and some people like it to have a little bit of squish to it, which is more comfortable because your shoulder will sink in and it will spread the weight more on the rest of your body, and it will also take out some of the pressure on your hips, but you have a little bit more noise there, so you have a little bit of option on noisy or more comfortable depending on where you are. I think that's pretty much it. I made an unboxing of this when I bought it about a year ago, and it's my favorite unboxing that I've made. This channel started as an unboxing channel, so if you haven't seen some of my old stuff, check them out. They're not all that interesting, but I think that this one's kind of funny. I don't know. I'll put a link to it right there. Thanks for watching.